The beauty of sharing experiences is the impact that it makes on people in making the right decision or saving money and time. Moving abroad is not easy, it's always challenging, and we all have our own experiences, and it can help someone if you decide to share it. Apart from my videos, I've now decided to bring all the immigrant stories together and share it with everyone, as I know it makes a lot of difference. So you know my story and experiences, how about you share yours? Thank you for agreeing to share your experiences. I've been making a lot of videos for the last couple of months, and what I believe personally in is you can learn a lot from experiences. So let's begin with a quick introduction about you. So do you want to just say a few things about yourself?
Oh, my name is Karan Chhabra, and I am from the northern part of India, Delhi. Right. So I moved to Dublin in 2014 to do my masters, and I've been working here in Dublin itself for the last 7 months.
Oh, that's brilliant. So you've already started working, and so it's been what, 4 years almost that you've been in Ireland?
Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful. So making this move from one country to another is never that easy. The reason that I started this channel and making the videos is because you're talking about investing time and money, and you would want to avoid as many problems and challenges as possible, and at least be prepared to what's coming forward. But so if you take us back to your journey when it started back home in India, how was the decision made of moving to Ireland?
This might sound strange. It all started with certifications. So if I talk about myself, I always put my pennies on having an additional skills along with your professional qualification.
Right.
So I thought that certifications they do help in a lot in upskilling your qualifications. So I did my first Oracle certification in SQL database,
right.
And after that I was looking for an upgrade.
Right.
So I came across this interesting term called cloud computing.
Right.
So I did research about it after that, and it certainly developed an interest in me.
Right.
So I thought of doing a master's in cloud computing. So that's how I eventually did land up in Ireland.
Well, I like that, and I find that quite interesting from one end, that like I believe myself too in certifications, where it definitely gives you a very professional add-on to your skills. But that's quite interesting, and the good thing is that you found something that you're interested in, and the best way of learning more about it is doing your masters. So when you decided to do your masters and come to Ireland for that, and actually make this move, I'm sure when you started planning for this back home, there must have been some challenges. Is there any key things that you want to mention in terms of what you went through, and some advice on that for people watching this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody moving from their own country to a different country, they do face a lot of challenges.
Right.
As was my case, so one of the biggest challenge which I did face was getting an education loan.
Right.
Being a student, I think the less burden you have when you are moving out of your country is better. So I did lack in that area. So I didn't do enough research about it. So my strong advice will be that as you're a student, just go for a bank for which you have to pay least rate of interest. I would like to advise people to research beforehand of applying for the college.
Well, I think that is key, because when I came for education as well, I got an education loan, and applying for a loan and then selecting a bank, be it a nationalized bank or be it a private bank, was difficult to decide. Of course, if you look at the rate of interest from a nationalized bank, it's much less than any private organization. But that's key. You're right. I think the more research you do in terms of which bank you want to apply for, and the more you're aware of the terms, I think it becomes much easier, like Karan said, for getting the right education loan at the right time and avoiding any challenges with that. But once you got your education loan sorted and you finally decided to move, so how was your first initial days in Ireland?
Oh, I mean, if I talk about the country, it's really beautiful. I mean, Ireland is a beautiful country, and the people are really friendly out here. When you talk about the challenges, of course, I had to face a few of them. One of them being the accommodation. For me, I had to manage a temporary accommodation for a couple of days, and then the only thing I had in my mind, I have to move into a permanent place. So the best place I could start off with, it was my college,
Right.
because that was the only point of contact for myself in Ireland. So yes, I did go to my college, and it took me a few days to know people, and eventually one of the colleague, he helped me with an accommodation. Oh, it was a lovely place, so I did move in. So yes, that was perhaps the challenge which I faced when I did step.
Yeah, I think accommodation is the most challenging part, especially when you move to a new country. But once you, apart from applying online to the websites that are there, you can always, like Karan said, you can always start looking at talking to people and knowing if someone is aware of a vacancy, and then getting in the place, which is quite key. But yeah, I think accommodation is sort of a challenge, which is something I agree with you. But yeah, so once that was sorted out, you started your college. How was your experience in college? How did you find the whole, was there any difference between the educational system here versus back home?
Yes, there is a difference between the education system back there and here. So when you talk about the master's program here, the more emphasis here is on self work. So self-learning is the key for that.
Right.
So you do a lot of research work. If you're coming for masters, it's about researching a lot,
Right.
reading papers, and yes, the other point is plagiarism. So it's simple. I mean, taking somebody's work and not giving them credits. So yes, but now I have a habit of avoiding it. So it is something which you should keep in mind. That's an advice from my side.
I think, like Karan mentioned, the idea of self-learning and reading a lot of research papers is something that will be quite useful. And talking about the professional life now, so after completing your masters, you've got your job and you're working now for quite some time. So I think this is interesting. As a fresher, I'm sure when you started applying for jobs, you have your own experience there. So how was your experience first to begin with, applying for jobs?
It would have never been easy. I always knew it, because being a fresher, I had a disadvantage over
Right.
everybody, because I mean, experience pays off.
Right.
So it was difficult, but again, thanks to my college, the careers department, they helped me a lot.
Right.
They helped me focus on some key points.
Right.
First being the LinkedIn profile.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a good platform to showcase your professional skills.
Right.
Again, as I said, self-learning, you can do a lot of self-learning, do certifications and put them over there.
Right.
Do volunteering work and showcase that as a skill as well. It's just a dynamic representation of your CV, which keeps people interested in your profile. So yes, LinkedIn being one, and the second one being self-learning portals. So I used to do a lot of self-learning certifications, say some sites like Total Site, Udemy. So these things help me a lot.
Oh, I think the you mentioned about LinkedIn, and I see it as the way you said, a social networking website where basically you're seen by a lot of recruiters, not just in Ireland but all around the world. And the more you represent yourself there professionally, I think that just, you know, opens a lot of doors for you. And I completely agree. I think that's where even I was a bit behind before coming here, but after coming here, I think I've really improved that, and it's certainly helped. So as you can see, LinkedIn, self-learning, you know, are some of the key things that you need to really do, which really helped Karan as well, as you mentioned. So yeah, beautiful. Then now that you're working, I'm sure you're paying off the education loan. Is that going on? And how does that feel really?
Yeah, it's going good. I mean, it always feels good when your hard work pays off. So yes, I won't go into the details of my loans with you, but yeah, it's paying off. Everything is going good, and yes, the only advice at the end would be learn from your mistakes. That's it, and don't repeat them. Don't repeat them.
That's beautiful. I think that's the key. That should not just be during college or during work, but should be a regular thing where everyone makes mistakes. You know, it's not something new, but that's okay as far as you don't repeat them. Keep learning from them. As Karan you know, shared some of the key things. So learning from mistakes, you know, not repeating them, of course. You know, learning new things on your own, and being ready for challenges. Of course, there are going to be challenges, but you just need to find the right way of you know, working on it, and just moving on. So thanks again, Karan. Thanks for sharing your experience, your story. It's good to know a lot more things about you now, and hopefully this helps. You know, if not all, but few people. Great. Thanks, Karan.